Hello everyone and welcome back to Orange Studios. I'm Ichuga, and in today's tutorial we are going to handle the first episode of the December package. Now the December package is not necessarily things around Christmas, even though it might include those things, but it's not necessarily centered around Christmas and all of that. It's centered around events that are likely to hold during the festive period, like music festivals, like food festivals, like parties, like jams and all of that. So at the end of this tutorial, if you have any requests, any suggestions, you can drop that in the comment section and be sure that I'll take it and run with it. Now let's jump into today's episode. So to start with, we'll use we go to File, New, and would work with A4. So every other thing here, it's okay. I mean the size is okay. You can move it to inches so you can have a look at it. This is okay. This is also okay. So we just say yes. So now to make the video very short, I've already saved some elements in their basic forms so that we can use them, but I'll still go through the process so that you get to understand it. The first thing I'm going to use here is this background. These are the elements I'm working with. I've already edited them in their stages. So this is the original picture edited to the final stage, and there's another editing, but I couldn't just save them all, so that I'll take you through them. So this is the background. I'll drop them this way. Okay, so before we go on, let's create a shape over this. So I need a rectangular shape. Press and hold on this eye icon here, and then select the rectangle shape to click and drag to the edge. I'm going to change this color to something like 262520. So this is the color code you want to use. Straight ahead, you can pick any color you want, but this is what I'm working on. I'll drop this one below, turn this one back on, then I'm going to convert this, change the blend mode to overlay. So just like this, it becomes very quiet in the background. I can even add another shape on top if I think this is too loud. Let me try it and let's see. So I'm going to make it black, so just take it to the black, the far end of the color selector, and let's change the opacity to say 20. Okay, let's say 15. Well, I can't tell the difference, but I think this is okay. We are doing this because we will be putting things on top and we don't want this to stand out too much. Okay, so we drop in some pictures here and all of that, the images you saw there. We don't want the background to be too loud, yet we want it to come out so that it gives it this African vibe, this Afro vibe. So this is what we'll settle with. I think I'm okay with this. So I can select all of this and then turn on the lock key so that when I'm moving, I'll not have it move along with me. Do you get it? So now let's move on. The next thing I'm going to try to do is to drop in the image. So I'm going to teach you how to edit the image, and then we move on from there. So back down here, we have this. So let me drag it over here so we can edit the original image. Now it's easy, it's simple to edit images if they have this raw or this plain backgrounds. They are easy to edit. So what you have to do is to just simply come over to select subject, and then just leave the work for Photoshop. It selects everything. So there you go. Everything else is selected. So what you can do is Control C to copy the image, Control V to paste. Now let's turn off this icon so we can see the image we've selected. With this done, you realize that there are some rough edges here, some colors still appearing there. What you would want to now further do to kind of take out this hair, this blue backgrounds in the hair off, is to use the eraser tool. So you come over to eraser tool, select background eraser, this particular one. Reduce the size because this is too big. According to the size, you either reduce or increase it if it's big or small to the image, and you do that by using the open or close square brackets. So that's what you do. Let's zoom in so you see what's happening. what you do is to press on the Alt key to select the color you want to erase out. So you select this. Now what you do, it's or easily, instead of going through the stress of pressing the Alt key, you just select an image, an area of the hair that has the blue background, and then you just click once and then move your mouse around it, so it kind of erases it. So you do this until you are cool with it. You can increase the tolerance if it's too slow for you, but bear in mind, the more the tolerance go high, the more it affects the other areas that you don't want to edit. So tolerance is basically telling the machine that tolerate the color selection to this level or to this amount. So let's just drop it down. So let's say 30. Let's try with 30, and then yeah, just move on. So you have to take your time and then do it. So I already did that. So I already did that, and I have the edited one here. So I'm going to use the edited one, which is this, and take it through another process. Great. So let's drop this here. So there you have it. So you realize that yes, some few editings, I didn't really take my time to do it, so it has some few errors here, but if you take your time, you would have it come out very well. The other thing I'm going to do now is to convert this image to black and white, and it's simple. Come over to image, adjustments, and then select black and white. So you select your black and white. You can choose to increase darken the red areas. So when you increase it towards the dark, you realize that the red areas of the face or the original image darkens. When you take it towards white, it whitens up. You want it darker, so you can just play around it till you are satisfied with what you are seeing. Okay, so this is how you go about doing the changing from black from the color to black and white. Okay, so if I had pressed OK, you have this, and it's here. You can always go back to black and white here and adjust this as you want. You can also add curves. For instance, I've done this. Really, it's not popping out the way you want, so you can just come over here, select this, and yes, curves right over here. What you want to do is that the curves helps you touch on the highlight as you want it, selecting all three colors, that is RGB, red, green, blue, red, green, and blue, yes. And then you can manipulate it as you want. So over here, I am bringing down, or I'm increasing the lows, and over here I'll be increasing the highs. So basically, so you touch on this. So look at areas around this place. Once I take it down, it gets down. So you can sharpen it this way, make it absolutely black and white if that's what you wanted, and you can work with it. So basically, this is how you add curves to it, so you can just have a little manipulation on the image if you wanted to. Okay, so let's assume this is okay. Now we are done with this. There's one more thing you would have noticed that I want to. Okay, now we'll move to that a bit later, but let me touch it here. So if you want the image to look a bit vintage, like a bit old school, already there it's afro, so the model here is looking like a vintage model, like an old school model. So if you wanted to add a bit more effect to it, what you would do is to create a shape. Okay, so you can even create a layer here or layer here, whichever way you want it. So new layer, select this, move over to, so you move over to edit, then you go to fill. So you fill it, and you fill it with 50% gray. Okay, now convert this to a smart object. So you do that by right clicking here, and then you select this. Once it's converted to a smart object, you move over to filter, move over to filter gallery, and this is where we want to apply the effect I was talking about. It's called half toning. So you move over to sketch, select half tone. Now it has this color here. I mean, it's giving the purple color here because over here the foreground or the background color has different colors. So you just change this to, let's say, black, and let's try that again. So you move over to filter and then filter gallery, select the halftone, move to sketch, select halftone. So you realize that now it has changed from the purple to reddish. It still tells you that there's another color here. So what you just have to do is to just make sure you have this here set to black and white. With however way it helps you get the halftone we are looking for. So we move over to filter gallery and then move over to halftone. So you realize that now it gives you the black and white. So we are trying to get it to the black and white state because we want to apply a layer blend or a blending mode to it, and that would knock out the whites and leave out the blacks. So we have an effect on the image. So you come over here and then increase the size. Let me just take it a bit far. So these are the things we are looking for, the black and white spots you have here. So you can make it this way or that way, and you can also increase the contrast, taking out the white entirely. But let's bring it down here so that we have something like this. You can also add a little more. So you come here, click on this, then you can move over to, let's say we are adding this, so it adds another texture to it. I hope you get it. So you can just play around with the effects we have here. You can probably do a little more. So you can just play around, and for instance, this will work very nice. So it gives it this rough texture, and let's just say okay. So this is what happens here. Now we change the blend mode from this to probably, let's assume we're going for this. This works okay. This equally works, but let's say we are going for soft light. There you realize that it gives you that old school look. It makes the picture look a bit old school, and you can just reduce it if it's too loud. Just reduce it here, so it gives you that old school effect that we wanted to do. So basically this is one thing we'll be doing as we move on. Okay, with this said, I've taken you through how to crop the image, how to apply the black and white effect, how to also apply this half-toning effect to the image. And so now let's move on, and then we'll just be dropping the images and arranging them, so you follow on with the arrangement and all of that. Okay, so we are back here. Now what we want to do is one more thing. Let's go back so that I would know that I've touched on everything with you. Let's go back here. Want to sketch out the crown, and to do that I'll use the brush tool. Shortcut key is B. Let's use black. That's what I'm looking for. And then we would just change the hardness to 100% hardness. Just select a very hard brush. Select a very hard brush and reduce the size of the brush. Let's zoom in so we see what's happening. So to draw the crown, I could just do this. I mean, it's a freestyling thing, so you can do this, do this. So basically this is how you go about doing a crown. And then let's do this. I don't want it to be a very long tutorial, so I'll end it here. So now we have an idea of what we want. So basically, if we had selected this, I could just apply a color overlay to this, and let's see, gradient overlay on this. Select a very bright color. Let's see, this is okay, and increase the opacity. Okay, so with this selected, I just move it here, Control T to reduce it. Then I can drop the crown on the head of the queen. There you go. So this is how it is done. Now let's move on and drop the images as we match on. I'm going to draw a circle. We are going to use this color codes I already have here. create another one, smaller one, and then select somewhere around it. So and then apply layer mask. Use this as a selection guide so I can erase the side off. Now I want to apply the half toning like I did to the other one, so let me just jump in. Okay, so now I have my half tone applied. Now I want to select this and then try and do something around the fabric, make it look a bit more dramatic. So I'm going to apply that by using the pen tool and make a quick selection around the image and then apply the effect I want to do. Okay, so now that we've done the selection, we will just have to select this shape, and then we have this, so we'll add it to the selection like so, and then we want to apply a gradient map on this, or gradient overlay on this. Select the gradient, and let's go for something a bit different from what we already have here. And then with this, we would have to change the blend mode, and once you change the blend mode, it won't have any effect because of the effect on it. So if you want to apply a blend mode and make it work, you probably have to convert it to smart object or rasterize the layer effect, as in you do this, you right click, then you rasterize the layer style, but let's hold on to that for now. So now you realize that the kind of color overlay you want to apply on the dress is too flat. We can just do a simple trick by double clicking on the edge, and then we will come over to this side, blend if. So we'll do it this way: you hold on the Alt key, then you click on one of the handles to split it. So while I move, you realize that the color is blending into the dress. Now it's holding the two, so both are moving, but I want to split it. So you press and hold on the Alt key, select one of them, then you realize that one is separated from the other, and that gives you that very clean color overlay blending into the dress, and this is what I am looking for. So you have it this way. Already the image is looking more old school than it already was. You can as well decide not to do that and it will still look good, but just trying to add a little more tutorial to it. And then we would what else, we can add the crown, which we've already learned how to do to it. So let's just drop it here. Well, so we now want to add a little texture to this just to make it look a bit nicer. So to do that, I would drop this, so drop it over here, and then add it to the clip masking. So press and hold on the Alt key, take your mouse between the layers, and then drop. So you realize that now it's dropped onto the crown, and that's not what we want to do. So we want to do this instead. We want to bring it over here to the image, and that's what we want to apply the effect. The crown would have to move above, then would add this to it and that to it. Perfect. So now the texture would have to be a bit smaller, it's too big, so reduce the size. So what we can do is again apply layer mask to the pattern by clicking on this, and then this is the shape we have here. We want to clear this side of the image, the pattern on the image. So put your hand on the control key, press and hold on it, and then click on this. So it gives you a selection around the cloth, and that's what we want to do. We want to keep the selection here only. So now select this and then use the brush tool, or you can press an Alt key and then the back key, then it erases the area that is selected. So we don't want it erasing the side, we want it the other way around. So Ctrl Z to undo. What we'll do is to come over to select, inverse selection, and then press on Alt and then the back key, and it erases all of this. So that's cool. Now Ctrl D to deselect, and we now select the pattern. If we want to make it smaller, you can still make it smaller. Go ahead and make it smaller. Yeah, just works in there like that. That's fine. Let's try and change the blend mode to something else that would work. So this time around we are going to use the blend mode. Let's say something of this kind is cool, it's not bad. Let's just drop the opacity, and then we can as well move over here like we did to the gradient. So you can just play around it, and once it works, it works. This is more like it. So we are done with this, and we'll just make a selection of all of that and put them in a group. The next thing we want to do is to now put in the text. Then the rest are just while you are gone. It's that easy. So Savage Mix is how I choose to call the event that is organizing. The event organizers call them Savage Mix. This is okay. Let me now add the text to it. We'll try and play around with the text. So let's call it Afro Night. So let's select both, and then I have this font, Survivor. Select this. Yes, so this is what we are looking for. So now let's zoom in so you can see what's happening. What I want to do is to, it's cool this way. The font, it looks okay this way. It's already a very nice font, so it looks good this way. But I want it to look a bit customized, so we are going to manipulate the text a little. Let's convert this to shape. So right click and then convert to shape. Now this is what I want to do. I want to now use the direct select tool. The shortcut key is A, but there it is, direct select tool. And now I can select all the anchor points and then drop them, so I'm moving downwards. All right, and then I'll select this and then drag, make sure it covers this whole portion. We can come back to this, and then this time we'll use the path selector, select, so we can move all of them at once. Back to the move tool. Now this is how it's going to look like. Let's just leave it as it is. Now let's move on to the night. So this is what we have so far. Now let's put in a little text, add the sponsors, and the event flyer is done. So once say beyond the returned. Alright, so with this we want to now add the sponsors. We add the sponsors. We can even add this info down here. We add this first, drop it. I've already done it, but I don't want to type it out, it will take too much time. And then we can also add the sponsors to it. So now let's go bring out the sponsors. And as you go on, you just want to make sure that they are properly aligned to center. They are not flying around just anyhow. So let's zoom in, check it out. Okay, so there we go. This is it. Make sure the spacing is right, everything is properly aligned, and you can admire the effects we have here. You can even do a little more to it. Let's see, select this. We can add a little effect to it, so we move over to filter, distort. Let's use this 12, and let's increase it just a little. Okay, so you see the kind of effect it has on it. You can choose to go for this, or you add another effect. So just touch on the tools and play around it, and you'll be cool. Okay, so there we go. This brings us to the end of today's tutorial. I hope it was very helpful. If it was, don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you are not already subscribed to this channel. And if you have any question, kindly leave that in the comment section and I'll respond. Have a good time.